guys, so I'm on here to give you a quick energy update and share some of the information that I tapped into, some channeled information and vision for the new golden age for a lot of starseeds that are waking up right now or have woken up, going through their journey, dark night of the soul, and whatever healing growth journey that they're on, or even unawakened, starseeds or anyone who may resonate with this message, because everything is energy. And if you find this video and if you're drawn to this message somehow and curious to learn more about the words and the things that I share with you, it may be for you and at this time. So always discern with your heart and take what resonates first, and then you know what to do. Leave what doesn't with love. Okay, so there had been a lot of intense changes that had been taking place in my personal life on a spiritual level. A lot of activation started happening, heightening senses, and a lot of DNA activation, upgrades, a lot of solar flares, light codes coming down every single day, which could have affected, which is basically affecting everyone at this time. But some people may feel it more intensely based on your vibration and according to your schedule of your awakening, because we think that we could fall into that idea of comparing myself with others. That's where we are on a collective level, collective human consciousness at the moment. A lot of the ego at play, so that is anchoring a lot of jealousy, competition. These are being dealt with right now, especially this past week, coming up to this week as well, but had been very intense last week. And so what's happening is, the reason for that is because we are now moving into a completely different age, completely different reality that are going to be presented to us. And it's not going to happen the next year or in 5 years' time or just in 10 years' time. It's all, everything has a schedule on a universal level. And there are many different councils, not just on Earth, but outside of Earth, that are working with a lot of the people on Earth at this moment. And as for me, I'm connecting directly and communicating with the Source and Gaia specifically, and with a lot of other informations coming from archangels, my spirit team, and other benevolent beings that are around or working with me at this time. So basically I have been working behind the scenes up until now, working on my healing journey mostly, because I had to clear my own bloodline karma. That was one of my soul contracts, and that was cleared. I had to do a lot of mother healing and then father healing, and I had been integrating the divine masculine and the divine feminine, which had been another journey, especially since February in 2022. And so I had to integrate and balance all my chakras and open up my throat chakra, which I had the persecution imprint, because I was I was persecuted for speaking my truth in my past lifetimes. And so I had to clear that up and do a lot of aligning myself. And after that, everything opened up even more so. So the light language started to come out. And the purpose of the light language is to clear the frequencies that are very dense around, that is being corrupted or contaminated with a lot of the language and the vocabulary that we use because we think that it's good, but actually it had been manipulated. So the vibration these words or the vocabulary hold is not to the high frequency, and it's affecting the vibration of Mother Gaia. So that is my job, one of my jobs, to help people educate on these things so we get onto the ascension as planned, according to plan, for golden age. And right now, a lot of the things are coming up, especially that was highlighted, is a lot of the projection may be going on, a lot of projection of other people's opinions, and gaslighting, meaning, people are negating your reality when you share what's going on. And when you are in a state of confusion, someone may come in with their stronger opinions, negating, and it's not always checked facts, or it's not coming from the place of honoring your truth and holding the space in love. It has more to do with the ego right now that is trying to negate so that I am right, I know more than you do, or I'm in charge of everything. And that comes from the ego attachment to, the feeling of superiority or the dominance. All these things are coming up. And these are coming up in the spiritual community as well, which I had just been tapped into the last week, that there's a lot of spiritual ego that we need to work on. And part of my job will be to work with the spiritual practitioners to educate on these things, or heal them if necessary, help them heal certain traumas or the inner child wounds, because I come from this non-spiritual background, and I was very much deep in sleep as a human until this time. So I don't really have any of that. I don't have you speak to higher beings, you speak to all this highest of the highest beings in the universe, you are directly channeling them. For me at this point, it doesn't matter, and I do not really care. All I care and my priority is Gaia and its ascension and expansion of human consciousness at this time. So this idea of looking up to someone, that means you're that much looking down on some people as well. So this leading to a lot of power struggle and, betrayal, meaning, you don't always say what you mean, and you're not aligning yourself with your truth first before you speak. So these are all related to throat chakra, that is tied to the root chakra, that is also tied to your third eye, and these have to be connected and aligned eventually. This anchoring the security within yourself, feeling safe in your own body, and the nervous system has to be healed. It's related to a lot of the inner child wounds in this lifetime. And then you're able to speak your truth because you embraced your authenticity. And then with the third eye, now you are seeing through all the illusions, so you get the discernment. So you're not going to be too much influenced by others' opinions. You will be able to detach yourself when the information that's coming from others is confusing. You will be able to detach from for yourself with your third eye, in your heart, because you're very much comfortable with yourself. And one of the things is you will be very much comfortable with your emotions as well, because when this is aligned, you're going to have this childlike qualities where you have integrated your inner child now. So you may find yourself expressing yourself like a child, even though it doesn't matter how old you are, right? And you will be very comfortable with that. And that's we call vulnerability, expressing your truth. And so you may be crying one moment and laughing the next, or vice versa. And right now, how people are perceiving that as usually is, oh, she's too sensitive, or there's too much delicacy, she's emotional. So there may be a lot of judgments and projections based on what they hold inside that may play out. So if you are just waking up, you haven't you're in the process of doing a lot of healing work and self-embracing and honoring your truth, and you really have to understand what that means for you, and it takes time, it takes process. And when you do that, you may be very vulnerable to certain people that some coach or mentor or any spiritual practitioners who could read your energy or do some, Akashic records, reading or all that. If they haven't done the work, if you find some people say, oh, I don't have ego, or I have worked out my ego and I have worked out all my traumas and I released all my karma, so I don't need to do all of that anymore. This could be a sign that they may still be in their ego, and they need to look into the aspects why they're saying these things. Because if you're a human at this time, it doesn't matter whether you're talking to different archangels or galactic beings, communicating directly with them, channeling. It doesn't matter. You're working with them. It doesn't matter. Or you were born into this life with a lot of memories as, so-called wisdom keeper, knowledge keeper. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If someone says that, it's usually just an indication they have to address this and acknowledge that aspect themselves, because it's related to their inner child that could be related to this particular lifetime and what they're interacting with in this lifetime, moment to moment. Because the spiritual law is governing, the universal laws are affecting everyone, and we cannot outsmart energy or outsmart source or the God, whoever you whichever term you resonate with, or the spiritual laws that are at play. And there's the laws of karma. So basically we get scared of the word karma because we have been programmed, and to attach that to the idea of punishment or heaven and hell, that made us feel powerless and made us to worship God. And so right now, if someone is playing God, you just need to see that as a red flag in a way, and then perhaps discern for yourself. It's not that, they may not always come from, an ill intention, but they're just unaware of that. They're unaware. They're not recognizing that yet. And so they may have a lot of great skills, but what that does, while I was connecting to Gaia and Source, is because my role right now is to also educate these things, is because it just anchors, it doesn't help Gaia raise its frequency or the vibration. What happens is there's a power game that is at play, and it's their needing to be right over other people and to present themselves in a certain way of authority, where that they want to feel like they're in control. They're the dominant force right now. And it will make certain people, and a lot of people who's just waking up, who just woken up or going through the healing journey, make them feel like they're inadequate or not enough or powerless, because they will start to compare themselves with these people and look up to them like, I don't have those abilities, or I have those abilities too. It's triggering them or activating their ego to compete and to prove. And they may have certain opinions that are unverified, they would say, because they always know all the answers usually. They will not say, I don't know about this, discern for yourself. Usually what they come up with is, I'm usually right. My readings are never wrong. All these things. And you find someone saying this, you want to discern for yourself. It's because it has nothing to do with their special gifts or the spiritual gifts, but just that they're just unaware of the ego aspect that they need to work on, that it's in constant at play right now. Nobody can, outsmart the natural laws of the universe or the cycle of karma. A lot of people later on will experience instant karma, where we don't have to wait lifetimes after lifetimes to clear these karmas, but it will just happen instantly, which means you're given an opportunity to clear it right away. So, there's an karma accrued, and you're given this opportunity where you will feel certain events taking place in your life, and you have to recognize it, and you take it as your lesson and your growth, and then it's been cleared. You let go with love and grace, and everything is in peace and harmony. You're grateful for this and all of that thing. So that is taking place. But when they come from that place, what happens is it may be not intentional, but it has to do with their own, growth and healing journey. But it could make you feel a little bit powerless. And especially when you're in a state of very much confusion and you are seeking guidance at this time, or advice from someone, or the feedback. Instead of feeling safe expressing who you are now going to, on a subconscious level, if not conscious, trying to prove yourself. And when that happens, I don't want you to fall into that, because it takes your energy away. It takes your energy away to focus on your inner self and your inner journey that you need to work on, giving your love, attention to yourself, to honor yourself. And that could be a lesson also coming to you if you have encountered this experience, to honor your truth once again. And so you want to say thank you for the situation right now, and you want to look into what is playing out in your emotional field and the feelings that come up, and acknowledge them. Because we need to, after acknowledge them, we need to reflect in order to redirect, and that's what's going to play out. But when you are in that place of going through the dark night of the soul, you will naturally want to seek counsel, guidance. And when someone says, this is what's happening for you, that is what you're going through, if it's coming from too much certainty, you want to doubt that, because you always have your truth. And we are all just a messenger once again. I'm just a guide helping you to tap into your power so you can remember who you are. And in the future, the vision that I was shown by the source is that we are no longer going to be in competition with each other, and it's going to be a lot of collaborations that are going to take place. And you will be with your soul tribe for a lot of spiritual missions together that would usually play out in 3. And until then, you have to do a lot of the work, a lot of the inner work, inner healing. And it doesn't matter who's awakened earlier, who's gone through more. We are all going through healing and constant growth, because we are eternal. And this is very important for me to remind you at this time. We are on constant growth journey. Nobody is exempt from this. Nobody is immune from accruing karma. Everything is at play, and the universe is always watching. So your job is to align yourself to the truth and tap into your truth, and try your best at the beginning to say what you mean, and mean what you say, and whether you're aligned with your truth first before you speak your truth. So we call this integrity. But right now, a lot of projection is happening due to a lot of fear of abandonment that's leading to codependency, that is related to insecurities, that is related to their inner child conditionings and traumas and wounds that are still unhealed, that they are coming up to receive attention so that they are released or integrated. And so we are going through this process. And when you go through this process, you will find yourself questioning yourself a lot, going into a lot of deep self-analysis. And when you overdo it, you will fall into a lot of self-criticism, critiquing others, which is another trap for you to fall into negative thoughts that are unnecessary. So you need to incorporate a lot of grounding, a lot of meditating at this time. So you can also check out my Instagram post that I uploaded a day or two ago with my dancing Reiki with selenite, is to support you on that, to help you cleanse your aura so you are aligned with yourself as you go through this healing and growth period. And this is a constant play, and all the spiritual teachers, the writers, and they have done their work, but we are not exempt from constant healing and growth. If someone says, I'm done with all of that, it's just an indication that they need to reflect and acknowledge something within themselves, okay? And so I don't want you to fall into that trap of you needing to prove yourself, because in the future, what happens when we integrate the divine feminine energy with the divine masculine energy that's related to mother healing, the father healing, the inner child wounds, when you integrate, when you're in balance with these two, what happens is you become a powerful creator, because you are both surrendering and you are both taking and moving yourself forward, creating your path. And so this has to do with give and take, and there's a cycle and there's a balance that needs to take place. And when that is integrated, you will find yourself be very soft-spoken, your mother divine nature is coming out. So right now at this time, a lot of the power plays are being played, a lot of mind games, a lot of manipulations, and playing strong in front of the weak and playing weak in front of the strong, because all this traumas, basically. A lot of people have a lot of wounds and we are hurt, right? So we need to step onto our power at this time, and this journey takes a while, and no one is exempt from this. And it all depends on how much you put into it and how much you're aligned with your truth, and ask for help to keep your heart in purity. And so when you come to that point, you will find yourself very childlike, and you will find yourself laughing one moment and then crying the next, and vice versa. Is because you're very much comfortable with your emotions and expressing it, just like a little child. And it frees you, and that's your authentic self. And you're able to speak your truth and be seen as your authentic self. And when we go through this period, it's likely that we will face a lot of these ego aspects that I just talked about, the patterns. And part of it is taking accountability, because the projection means that I don't want to take accountability. I'm going to project it onto you, blame it on you, because I'm not that. It's based on the fear, based on the punishment that they receive in their early childhood conditioning. And so it is all playing out that way right now. So that is something that I needed to share and that I wanted to address for those of you who may be drawn to this video. And I've interacted with a lot of people with psychic attacks, getting psychic attacks, and the empaths, and energy protection these days quite a bit. So if you have any questions regarding that, or if you have any topics that you want me to touch upon in later videos or any posts, I will keep your comments in mind for future content. So please leave them in the comments. And before I leave, the future is going to be a lot of collaboration. There will be no opinions, no judgment, no arguments, and we will all come from unconditional love. This is taking place right now, better than before, and will be much more in the future. And that's why we're all working on this together. And that if you are this empath and you have a pure heart and you had been feeling very broken and hurt because of that, your kindness was seen as your weakness because of that age that we were in, and that you felt like you were being taken advantage of, all this victimization. It's because you have a very pure soul. And after all this time, you kept it pure. That is your strength. And I don't want you to lose that. You don't want to stay in cynicism, needing to present your power over, having that authority over. That age is gone. We're entering the new age. And so all these people who are in power, who's abusing it, will come down eventually by the law of the universe based on their choices that are making consciously and unconsciously. And these pure souls and the pure hearts will rise up, and they will build this new golden age. So we are now all in this purifying age right now. And so I want you to keep your softness to yourself, and that it's okay for you to be vulnerable, and it's okay for you to ask for help when you need it. It's okay for you to cry, and you don't have to apologize yourself for crying, and that you are a powerful being, you're a pure soul just for that, okay? And that means you're strong. You're not lying to yourself. You're not deceiving yourself, deceiving others in order to appear powerful, okay? So that is the last message that I want to share with you today. So this is all for today, and I hope you a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye!